In studio alongside CBS NFL analyst Emery Hunt and the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Fellas, this was a big game that tested the Bills maybe more than we thought it would. I want to talk game plan here first. We talked at halftime about what Joe Brady was doing, what he wasn't doing offensively. Coming off of the dominant performance we saw against Dallas in the run game, were you surprised at all at the way Joe Brady and this Bills team trotted out offensively?
Yeah, I was surprised because you wanted to see them take their chances at some point in the game, but I thought coming out early in the first half, they wanted to be aggressive. They wanted to try to win the game in the first quarter, and we saw how that played out for them. They were down 10-0 pretty quickly. And in the second half, we saw them operate with patience. Have patience, run the football, take your timely shots down the field. We saw Josh Allen step up big with an off-script play to Shakir down the sideline, which got them where they needed to be to score the game-winning points. But patience helped them out in the second half. They were a little bit too aggressive, they were too eager to blow out this team, but we saw them get back to what they did well in the second half and third, fourth quarter, which is why they got the win.
Yeah, I agree with you, Emery. I think, you know, the first quarter especially, it seemed like the Bills offensively, they were pressing. They were trying to score too fast. You know, they got down, they kind of gathered themselves and just started running the football, getting James Cook involved as well. And I think they understood and knew the moment, but yet and still they were not patient enough to allow the moment to come to them. They were trying to create the moment, and you can never press in a National Football League ball game, especially on the road when you're playing against a team that's clearly looking for any source of positivity. And they made this thing extremely interesting for all of us. It was dicey till the end, but this is what the National Football League is about. I tell people this all the time, guys, regardless of what the record is based on the team you're facing, they have some great players on their side as well. They get paid top dollar as well. And that's what we saw. A team that had nothing to play for, nothing but pride, came out and gave the Buffalo Bills everything they wanted plus more to the very, very end. This is the unique thing about what we're seeing from the National Football League. Very, very entertaining, and you never know what you're going to see. You know what I mean? So kudos to the Buffalo Bills. They didn't win by style points, but they found a way to win, and they keep their playoff hopes alive.
This is not the CFP style points not required. 3 straight and 4 of their last 5 now. The Buffalo Bills heading in the right direction. I want to pull at that string that you offered there, Mac, a little bit more, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the disparity between giving up 63 to Aiden O'Connell and playing a game that was decided in the final seconds. Like, where does that difference come from a guy who's been inside those locker rooms and felt those swings in momentum? How do you explain the difference from one week to the other in this Chargers team?
You know, Joe, I'll say this over and over again. When you make a big-time change, either on the coaching staff or at one of the personnel positions, the team will tell you if that was the right thing to do, right? We saw that with the Raiders, as I stated earlier, when they fired Josh McDaniels, anointed Antonio Pierce as the head coach. Look how the team responded. And the prime example, once again tonight, remember they had their backup quarterback in the lineup in Easton Stick. They didn't have their top pass catcher in Keenan Allen, right? And they had a lot of issues on the defensive side, even with a healthy cast of players. But guess what? They fought because they fought for their coach. The energy that he displayed on the sideline was something that we haven't seen. We didn't see from Brandon Staley, an animated coach, involved, energy. He's right there with his guys, cheering them on. You know what I mean? That does something for us as players. You guys played the game, played football. You know how it feels when you look to the sideline and you see your coach telling you, let's go, Joe. Let's go, Emery. It gets you going. And that's who he is, and that's what he displayed tonight. And they fed off of that energy. Granted, they came up a bit short, but guess what? They made the game extremely entertaining for all of us compared to what they did not do last week.
Now, you make a great point, B-Mac. And when you think about this week for them, I know this is going to sound weird, but it felt like it was a normal week for them because you had a full week of work for Easton Stick going into the next matchup. You had a full week of work for the defense, and what we saw in that first half, the offense ran well with balance. Stick was doing a great job getting the ball out, got it to multiple receivers. You saw the run game start to pop. Defensively, they got after Josh Allen. They turned the ball over. So we saw a team play, to me, its best football on both sides of the ball from a stylistic standpoint, from a consistency standpoint, and also from a production standpoint. They had a lead in this ball game, and that shows you what went into the work going into this matchup. So it felt like what was a normal week for the Chargers, and it showed itself out there on the field in the first half because they were able to buy into the message, and they kind of had this feeling of, okay, We had this shakeup. Let's get back to basics, and we saw that out there at least for the first half.
I feel like since that Denver loss, we've seen a different Josh Allen and a different Buffalo Bills. Yes, there was the loss within since then to the Eagles, but a game they very easily could have. It was almost like that was their Tebow moment. You'll never see a group of guys better prepared. Like Josh Allen, you look in his eyes right now, and it is supreme focus. But I'm looking at this offense, and they're still unable to get both of their guys going on the same night. Talking about Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. Davis shows up in this one, 4 for 130 and a touchdown. Diggs 5 for 29. Came on 8 targets, Emery. But are you still sensing a struggle? Like we haven't seen the fullest form of the pass game yet for this Bills team?
A little bit, and it was good to see guys like Shakir step up and Gabe Davis have his big day, and I think that's great for Buffalo because you need that to happen because you know at some point in time in a big game, in a playoff matchup, Stephon Diggs is going to show up big, but you need these other guys to step up. I thought the Chargers did a great job in kind of minimizing Diggs' effect and kind of force those other guys to make plays consistently, and look what happened. They did, and they got them down in position to score. Davis had a big touchdown. Shakir got them down inside the scoring range in which they were able to kick the game-winning points. So you need these type of games to happen for Buffalo. You need those type of receivers to step up, and they did. So I'm excited about their future because now you can trust those guys. Well, you hope you can trust those guys moving forward to step up in case Diggs is having an off day.
Yo, in this 3-game streak they're currently in, winning streak, Stephon Diggs' numbers, receiving yards, 29 yards tonight, 48 last week, 24 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Individually speaking, he hasn't really been impactful, but they're finding ways to win. Now, you would think that's a good thing because they're winning ball games. But how long will that last when you talk about winning ball games and not getting your star receiver involved? And also, too, remember the interception that Josh Allen threw. He was trying to target Stephon Diggs. So Stephon Diggs is a guy clearly one of the bigger difference makers at the wide receiver position, but they're finding ways to win ball games without him being heavily involved in the game plan. And you talked about Gabe Davis. Yes, finally they got him going. So I don't know if they have the type of offense where you talk about wanting to run the football as much, Joe, where you can devote equal opportunities to Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and Shakir and Knox and Kincaid. I don't think it's possible. So it's going to be either or game when you talk about either Gabe Davis type game or Stephon Diggs. So, you know, tonight they got it done. He wasn't impactful, but I think when you talk about trying to get into the playoffs, at some point in time, number 14 has to be your guy. But when you're winning, everything's okay. You know, I don't think Stephon has an issue with him not having the targets and the numbers because they're winning. But you better believe if they lose and he's not involved, he's going to have something to say.
No, and that's just it, Mac. You said it right there because maybe in years past, even within the wins, you see an unhappy Stephon Diggs when he's not getting to his numbers. A different, more mature Diggs presenting himself and maybe taking 2, leaving everybody else in one-on-ones, and it proved to be a winning formula on this night. Buffalo 24, LA 22. B-Mac, Emery, great stuff as always. And don't forget, there's only one place to be this holiday. It's with Emery and myself. Unfortunately, Emery, we couldn't get a hat photoshopped onto your head, or maybe it was requested that we not. I'll play along. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Join us right here on CBS Sports HQ for Game Day Scoreboard. Full highlights, sound, and reaction to pivotal Week 16 action.